Hey, what's up, everybody? I am going to go through some of these player props again today. Right here, I have it ordered by the rank for the whole day. I will go through the top five from each game today. This is how it did yesterday in order of rank. So it did a lot better yesterday going by the board rank than doing the actual teams. By the teams, there was more misses, but they were at the bottom of the ranking. So that's why I'm going to do just the top five today. I know there's a lot of college basketball people probably want to watch and all that. So we'll go ahead and get started on these. Start with the earlier games. Going to start with Desmond Bain. He likes him for 2 3 pointers. If we look at Bain for 2 threes, he is on the road today. So he has missed it in three of the last four. Those were in the close range. He has had some of the other closer ones. If you go to home, he's he always has at least one recently, two or more in a lot. Some of the closer games are at two or more here, but overall, still kind of right at that two with the blue dots, one below. A lot of the yellow dots there too. So, um, in recent games, he has hit it in 68% of those games. He's averaged 2.7 over those last 25. So that is better than his season average on both the hit rate and on the actual average. But the thing is, he has been better at home. He is on the road here, so averaging zero point 0.9 less 3 pointers on the road per game, and the hit rate is 18% less. So that's not what you really want to see. The model does have him still predicted at 2.14, and a 65% chance to go over. Against similar teams, he's hit it in 6 of 10 games, so more than half of the games, but the average is under that two. So he's had more games with zeros than he's had significantly above two. Close games. So one of the games he played Charlotte at least, because it can change. It does do it with the sim bin too. So if they've changed sim bin, it won't put it in there. But he did have three in a game against Charlotte. I don't see it on there. The closest games though were from what it's calculating and similarity scores is going to be the Lakers and Cleveland. From what it's showing, he did have two in both of those games. Uh, one of those was on the road, the other one was at home. So definitely going to put up the shots, I would imagine. Charlotte isn't. The fact he had three in a previous game and Charlotte doesn't really defend the three that well, I would imagine he's going to get plenty of looks. A lot of the times when he doesn't get it seems to be when he ends up trying to drive the ball more, and then he ends up getting more free throws, getting his points that way. The next one's going to be LaMelo Ball. Likes him for 3 3 pointers. All right, so this is going to be on the road. Two or better every single game. A lot of those blue dots are at four, one at five, and then one at two. How he's been doing at home has been a little bit worse on the similarity score, at least a two and a one. But the yellow dots are at a three, and then most recently at a four in that last game when he played Miami. So he came out. Brandon Miller got in foul trouble. Con Knipple got in foul trouble last game, and he was the one that was putting up more shots. Once they came back in, Brandon Miller ended up hitting a bunch. Uh, Con ended up hitting one, but he sat out quite a bit. So I don't know that I would trust this one as much because at home against the similar teams, he hasn't done as well. It seems like the other ones have done a little bit better. But he is at 72% hit rate on the last 25 games overall, and he's averaged 3.9 in that time. So that's really good. He is up on the average, and he is up on the hit rate from his season averages and hit rate. On the home and away splits, he is better on the road. Like I said, he is almost 30, not 30, 26% better on the hit rate, and the average is 1.2 better on the road. So that seems to be where he's getting most of his. As you can see, he did have a 10 on the road, so that's going to draw the average up, but he's got sixes, a five, quite a few fours, where at home he only has three fours. He does have a seven and a five, but those are the green and the red dots, which are what the model similarity score is the furthest away. So the blue and the yellow are at three and two, one at one. So it's not something that I'm trusting as much for him at home. I think a lot of the last game was just because of the foul trouble to the other two. But in a game against um, Orlando, he did have 4. So I'm assuming that one was probably on the road, just based on all of his averages and all of that. But hit rate against similar teams, he has on the season 6 of 10 games hit that line, and averaged 3.4 in that time. He's also had 3 straight games with at least 4 or better. Only one of the last, was that 4 or more? So 7 of the last 8 games, he has had 4 or more threes. So that's going to be this group right here, obviously. So he's doing really well recently. If he does continue that trend, I don't see why 3 would be too big of an issue. I'm assuming his line is probably at 4 today. That's what it typically is at. The next one's going to be Con Knipple, likes him for 3 as well. So this will be on the road. On the road, he hasn't done quite as well against the similar teams. LaMelo's done a little bit better. When you go to the home, his blue dots are, just a 2 and a 3. And then this last game, like I said, it was mostly foul trouble. He has more games that have been up at 5, I guess a little bit better, but those were a few games ago too, like a few weeks ago or whatever. LaMelo recently has been a little bit hotter, so maybe that's the way you're going to want to go. Khan's hit this in 64% of his games of the last 25. He's averaged 3.7 in that time. So if we compare that, the average is only 0.16 away between the two. The hit rate, though, LaMelo has hit it in 8% more games. On the overall splits at home, Khan has hit this in 58% of the games. He's averaged 3.33. So he's been better on the road too, 69% and averaged 4 on the road. But he is doing better at home recently than he has been doing on the season. So that's something to consider. The model has him predicted higher too. It's got it at 3.58. It has him at 3.44. So not a huge difference, but it is a little bit higher. And it has him at a 72% chance to clear that 3. I would imagine again his line is probably at 4. But this yellow dot, like I said, he was in foul trouble that whole game, and I just wouldn't worry too much about that one. These two are green, so they're a little bit further from what it thinks it's going to see. He's just been on fire recently. If you look at the overall, he's had a lot of really good games. So that's kind of why I would lean him perhaps a little bit more, especially since he had foul trouble last time, and he still came back in and ended up hitting one before going to the bench because it was a blowout. So he'll keep his head in the game. A lot of times, games like these that are tight, he'll get the ones that are at the end, late third quarter, fourth quarter threes. So that's another reason I would kind of lean on him. Similar teams, San Antonio, he had 4. The Houston, he had 4. So he's had more games that are under that 3, but I just think his upside is better, especially if you wanted to try to ladder. I do think he has a pretty good chance of even getting up to like a 5 or a 6, maybe if he can get the opportunity. He's pretty efficient. Next one it likes is Miles Bridges, and it likes him for 5 rebounds. All right, so on the road, looks like he was doing pretty well against the similar teams. The last couple games against similar teams, not quite as well, but the yellow dots are up there. So that looks decent overall. Last game, he had 10 against Miami, so obviously that is a good sign. That's probably what bumped him up because he's not typically on this list, but let's look at the overall recently. So kind of half and half. The blue dots are down below, so this isn't necessarily one I would want to try to play, but the model is seeing something here. Although it's also only got him predicted at 4.77. So it's given him a 53% chance to get to 5. A little bit better than half, but the hit rate's not even at 50% for the last 25 games. It is down 11.5% from his season average. He's down almost 0.9 from his season average in the last 25. Better on the road than at home. So I'm not sure why it rated this one so high. I don't see it. It doesn't look good to me. Obviously, he can get there. That's not the issue. The issue is if he will get there. And based on what I'm seeing, there's just not enough consistency in his graph and his numbers for me to want to go for that. The next one it liked was Wendell Carter for rebounds. All right, so on the road, he's only missed this in 2 of the last 12 road games from the last 25 games. Of the 13 home games, he's hit this in the last 12. So in the last 25, wait, I don't know why I put this at 4.5. It has him at 7. That's why. All right, that makes a little more sense. All right, so he's missed it in 5 of the last 12 on the road. He's missed it in 5 of the last 13 at home, but he's had some really good games at home. They are on the road, though. This is Orlando. So 3 of the last 4 he's missed. He had some really good games coming back from the All-Star break. So those 4 games, then he missed some. With him, a lot of it, too, is going to be if Banchero is grabbing too many rebounds. Because when he gets in there and starts grabbing too many, then Wendell Carter doesn't quite get as many. This is a game where he's going to have a good matchup. I think he'll match up pretty well against Moussa Diabate. Although he did have just 3 in the previous matchup. But he is averaging 7.6, and he's hit it in 6 of the 10 against similar teams based on the similarity score. So he's hit it in 60% of the last 25, and he's averaged 7.4 in that time. His at home and away, it is down just a little bit on the hit rate, but the actual average has remained pretty steady within 0.2. The model has him predicted at 7 with a 57% chance to go over, hit 7 or go over. So there's a lot there that does look pretty good. Closest there is when he had 11. That was at home, though. On the road, just 5. Yeah, I think his consistency is the thing that would worry me the most. 5 or 6 looks really good. It's just getting to that 7th one can sometimes be a little bit tricky. When he gets to 7, though, it seems like he typically goes over, gets to 8, or even up to 11 5 different times in the last 25. So 20% of his last 25 games, he's been 11 or higher. Actually, more because he's got that 14. So the upsides is there. If he can get the minutes, if they stay in the game, and if Banchero's not grabbing all of the boards. So the next one will be the next game. It'll be Jalen Duren for the Pistons. Likes him for 10 rebounds. All right, so similar teams on the road. It has him at 12 and 13 and 13. This was their last game. This was against Washington, exact same team, same place. So he had 12 and 31 minutes last game. Cade Cunningham is out this game, so unless Duren gets into foul trouble, he's definitely going to still have plenty of minutes. There is always blowout risk. They showed it last game after a very close first half. They pulled away very quickly in the second half, so that would be a concern. If everybody is scoring, Duncan Robinson tends to struggle on the road. We'll get to his threes next, but he doesn't typically help out a whole lot on the road. I would think Ron Holland or someone coming in to help out more with Cade being out would be where the points are going to come from in this game more. But back to Duren's rebounds, just overall, he's been really good. All of the blue dots, he's averaging right at 13. There's 4 of the teams in this last 25 that have been in the closest for the similarity score. So at 12 or better, it looks really good. The model has him at 11 as a prediction with 62% chance to go over the 10. So he's gone over 10 in 64% of the last games and averaged 10.5 in that. So slightly down on the average, slightly up on the hit rate from his season averages. Home and away, he's been doing better on the road, actually. His home averages are down, but the away average is up. He's up 0.6 on his actual average and 11% on the hit rate. So that's good to see. He does have, like I said, the 12 in the last game. They played him once before. He only had 3 in that game, but he left after 13 minutes. So he had back soreness, I believe it was, and left that game. So that was also, like I said, these do change. Even if it's the same team, it can be a different sim bin just based on how they play at home versus away, how their points per game have changed in that time, how their pace has changed in that time. All of that does go into the similarity score, and then that's how it's all calculated. So a lot of his games, though, double digits. I think it's obviously a very fair chance that he'll go over, especially with Cade being out. He's going to be much more of a main player in this game. So the next one is going to be Duncan Robinson. It still likes him for 2 threes, even though he struggles on the road. But last game he got one. I think he only shot maybe 3 attempts. He didn't even try to shoot very many. But as you can see, the Blue Dots have still been good on the road. He does have a 4. He does have a 5. But he has a lot that are just 2. He has lots of 1s and 0s. Where if you go to home, everything is 2 or better. So him being on the road is the question mark here. Like I said yesterday, if you watched, if he sees him go through, he'll probably keep shooting. If he starts struggling or if they're guarding him too tough or whatever, he's gonna just start passing the ball. It seems like, based on what I've noticed. So I do, I don't know. I do think he'll probably get to 2. He didn't last game. I think they're gonna need him to be involved more in this game, and I think they'll game plan for him more from the start, knowing that Cade is out. So I think he'll end up with more opportunities. Overall, in the last 25 games, he has hit that line in 72% of them. Most of those, like I showed you, obviously were at home though. The home hit rate, 100% in that time, averaging 3.33. So on the season, even 94% hitting that at home and 3.36. Where if you go on the road, he's been much worse on the season. He's been even worse in the last 25 games. So I'm not sure this is something I would necessarily trust. I still think this would be a better option to try to go for a 3 or a 4 and not with a full unit or anything like that, but see if maybe you can get him. I don't know what the lines are. His 3 probably isn't very good. But if he can get to 4, I'm sure it's probably at least plus 200 with as much as he struggles on the road. And that might be something worth putting a little bit on just because he can get there when he shoots. He just doesn't shoot a lot on the road. So next one is Tobias Harris, and it likes him for 5 rebounds. So on the road, he's only missed this in 2 games of the last 25. All of the blue dots have been there's an 8, there's a 6, and a 5. So that looks good. Even the 12 is in the close. So that's good. At home, the only blue dot is at 8. The most recent yellow dots are a 5 and a 6. So if you look at the overall, it's just these 2 yellow ones. And he did have some injury issues around that time. As you can see, there are some gaps. What is that? Oh, no, I guess not. That looks pretty close there. Well, no, yeah, he came out of this game. I think he played 24 minutes. He didn't play again for 4 days. So I'm not sure what exactly happened on his injury, but he did miss a game. Other than that, though, I mean, he's been really clean most of these last 25. Before the All Star break, had a couple that were down low, but 76% of these games he's hit, averaged 5.5 on that time. That's up on his season average and hit rate. On the road, he's been up 21% on the last 25, then on the season, and up zero 0.8 almost on the average, where he's been pretty steady at home, very similar. So on the road is where he's seen the biggest increase. The model's got him at 5.6 prediction and 63.5% to go over 5. He did have 5 in the last game, and in similar games, he's hit it in 5 of 10, and he's just under that 5. If you go to the possessions, it's expecting more possessions from Washington. Detroit's not a fast playing team, but Washington does play at a faster pace. And when you go into that, he has hit it in 4 of the 6 games, and he's averaged over 5 in that quartile. So I think everything looks pretty good for Tobias to end up hitting the 5. Like I said again, with Cade being out, obviously he'll be leaned on a little bit more too. He's not typically going huge minutes. Sometimes he goes up into the mid 30s, but normally he's a low 30, mid 20s to high 20s kind of guy. I would assume his minutes are going to be a little bit higher unless it ends up turning into a blowout in this game. The next one it likes is Jalen Duren for points. It likes him at 20. With Cade being out, I think this is a very big opportunity. He's had 36 in the last game. The game when he only played 12 minutes, he had 4, but he had back issues in that game. Like I said, if you have back issues, that you're probably not going to be rebounding or scoring much, and he still had 3 rebounds and 4 points in that game before leaving. So on the road, it looks really good. 25, and then that last one, that 36 against Washington, both above that 20 line. The only yellow dot is above that 20 line too. If you go to the home games, he did miss 2 of what were the closest. That was going to be this Philly game and the Brooklyn game. So his was one of those when he came back or went out? No. So I don't know. I again always this is the style of team that they can blow out, and his minutes might be risked, but he didn't lose minutes in that Brooklyn game. He played almost 32. He just only had 17 points. I would assume Cade probably had more, and that was probably it. But when Cade's out, Duren is definitely he gets a lot more points. They rely on him more. His scoring is way better this year. Last year he was better, a little bit better at assists, and I'm quite sure his assists are just down because he can actually score a lot better. He can shoot the ball better when he's in close is good. So Duren for points with Cade out is definitely a good look in my opinion. It likes Azar Thompson for 5 rebounds as well. So in the last game, he did end up with 7. He also has been out with injuries. He missed from the 5th to the 15th. Came back and only had 1. He only played 2 minutes in this game before he went out with that 0. So if you take those 2 games out, everything's been at least 3 or better. If you look at the overall, these are the games that were injured. But before that, I mean, the ceiling's really high. He's typically a 6 or better player. His just like his brother, 6, 7, 8 rebounds is very common. So he does typically do a little bit better at home. As you can see, his hit rate is about 70% versus 50%, 58%. So, but both of these um, that he missed with the injury and came back and all that, those were on the road. So that's dragging down his average here, which is still above that 5 line. And it's 2 of the 12 games that are coming out for that. So really, let's see, 6 of 10 would be where he was at. So he'd be about 60% without those games on the hit rate. So pretty good. The model's got him at 5. It has him at a 57% chance to go over. I mean, he's been hitting it in the last 25. He's been hitting it on the season. He had 7 in the last game. In the first game, he had 9. So everything that I can see, it looks really good for him to at least get 5. I think you could go up to probably 6 or 7 pretty easily on him. Let's see. Next game will be the Lakers and Miami. And let's see, that's Andrew Wiggins, I believe. Has him number 1 for rebounds at 5. Excuse me. Now, I don't know if he's going to play. I do believe it said he was probable. But he's been out for quite a while. He hasn't played since the 5th, so keep that into consideration too. He did miss the last one. He had 2 that would be on the road. They are at home today. So his last road one was 2. His last home one, he ended up at 4. So he has been better on the road or at home, but this blue dot is all the way down at 1, and the yellows are right there at a 5 and at a 3. Not much better there. So I don't know. Just given the fact if he does play at all, he's coming back from injury. I think it put him on there partly because he had 9 against them in a previous game, 80% on matchup similarity. So on the season, he's been really good against this style of team or even against this team. But even if he plays, I'm not sure how much he's going to play. I just kind of wanted to put it in here. It was the number one. If you would have looked on that, uh, the other sheet, you would have seen him on there. So didn't want to skip over him, but uh, yeah, I I wouldn't play him coming back from injury if he is indeed coming back from injury. So likes Luca for 4 3-pointers. This is a road game, so he's been 3 or better in all 13 of his last road games. He's been 4 or better in 8 of those, and some of the Blue Dots have been 8 and a 6, with 2 of the others at 3. When he's been at home, most similar games have been at 4 or better. Um, the yellow ones, he's had some injury issues, which would have been some of these. Well, I guess that would have been right before the All Star break, maybe. No, he sat out a couple games before that. So since the All Star break, he's only missed this in 3 games. He's been 4 or better. In all of the other ones, he's been up to 9. He's had an 8. I see no reason why he wouldn't be at 4. Let's see. He's been 4 or better in 7 straight games. 2 of those are in the closest sim bin for the matchup. So everything I can see, even if those were at home, does look good. 68% of the last 25 games, he's been averaging 4.5 in that time. That's up 0.6 on the season. It's up 12% on the hit rate. If you go to the road, he is up 13% on the hit rate. He's up, what is that, 0.8 on the average, which is better than his increase on the home ones. So the model has him at 4.21 and a 62.3% chance to go over 4 today. In similar games, he's averaged 4.2 and he's hit it in 6 of the 10 most similar games. So everything that I can see looks really good for Luka, in my opinion. Obviously, Miami has had a lot of changes. They've had injuries, people in and out, and everything. So it's hard to know if these blue dots will represent how they're going to be playing today. How because I believe they're pretty healthy today. I think they're going to have everybody playing, which hasn't been the case for a while. So could match up a little bit differently, but I would still imagine the Lakers are going to lean on Luka to be making threes, especially when they just played last night. Probably a little more tired legs might throw it up a little quicker. Also likes Aiton for rebounds. All right, so on the road, most recent game was 4 against Houston. He's just so all over the place. Like he said, he is not him. Has some really good games. The most similar games he has had an 11 and he's had a 10. So that looks really good. These other yellow dots look really good. These 2 guys would worry me. But considering the similarity games, they all look really good. He's hit this line in 64% of his last 25, averaging 7.8 in that time. So he is down on his season average in the last 25, but the hit rate is about the same. On the road versus home, he's actually up on hit rate at home and on the average. And then on the road, he's down 12% and he's down 1 point, almost 1.4 on the average. So I think I would trust this a little more if this were a home game. He has hit it in 7 of the 10 most similar games, and he's had 8 in that time. So the model's giving him an 8.9 prediction with 70% chance to go over 7. So the model does like this. It looks like it's matching it very heavily on the matchup, on the similarities. Like I said, this could be a game where Miami isn't quite what the model is seeing in similarities just because of all of the changes that they've had. So being on the road and all of that, I don't think I would trust him in this game. I think there's some good rebounders on the other side of the ball that will probably steal a few more from him. So, and then the next one, I'm actually surprised. All of the ones they had are for the Lakers. I had Austin Reeves for 3 pointers at 1.5, which I don't know if there would even be any value on this. Perhaps he has struggled on the road. I covered this yesterday if you watched. Um, Struggled on the road since he's come back from injury. He's been slightly better on threes than on points, but the most he's had on the road is 2 3 pointers since he's come back from injury. If you look at his home, he's had a five, some fours, a three. So much better at home. If you look at his overall, it doesn't look bad. But if you go back to that away, he just has struggled on the road since he's come back. So I'm not trusting this one. Only 44% in his last 9 road games has he hit this, and he's averaged 1.4 in that time. So he's down zero point 0.8 on his average. The hit rate's down 17. Just doesn't look good to me for the home away. Closest games, but again, similarity with a Miami team that isn't really similar to themselves. It's hard to track, and I don't trust him until he shows he can start making some baskets on the road again. And then the last one is gonna be LeBron. If he plays, it likes him for rebounds at 5 again. So on the road, he's only missed this 3 times in his last 13 road games. Most similar game, he had 8. Other similar games, he's had 5. He's had a 7. So that looks good at home. Still looks great on the dots. We can look at the overall even. So he's only missed it 3 times since the All Star break. A lot of these dots have been what is considered the model's considering a close or closest. And of the closest games, he's averaged 8.3. So if he plays today, I know it's second day of a back to back. If he can play, if he can get minutes, the model's liking him for the rebounds. I just like I'll repeat myself for the millionth time again. I don't trust the similarity for the Miami. I just think it's going to be off, and I think you got to let that kind of cycle through for a few games, especially when it's all going for. There's so many on here for rebounds, and Miami's a good rebounding team. They do play at a fast pace. That is part of it. So pace is the primary metric that the similarity score uses for the rebounds, because if you're playing fast, there's more shots, and if they're not falling, there's more rebounds. So that makes sense to me. I don't know if I would like that for the actual matchup in tonight's game as much. It looks like he can get 5. It looks like he can get up to 7. Um, if you want to go for it, go for it. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I just want to show you what the data is telling me and what my model's telling me. The model's saying he can get it, at least at the 5. It doesn't trust him all the way to the 6. So the next one will be Cleveland and Chicago. I'm gonna have James Harden. Goddamn, can't type. It likes him for rebounds for 4.5. So let's see. Cleveland is going to be in Chicago. He has been hitting this on the road recently. He's hit it in the last 5 road games since he's been with Cleveland. And he's been getting mostly 5, a couple 4s at home even. So since he's come to Cleveland, he's been pretty well over that 5 range. Just even recently, 5, 6 of the last 7 games, 7 of the last 8, and 10 of the last 12 games. It looks like he's been over that line. So seems pretty good to me. I don't know what his actual lines are today. He's hit this in 68% of his last 25, averaging 5.1 in that time. Some of these misses down here would have been when he was with the Clippers. On the season, he was only averaging 4.9, so he is up 0.2, and he is up 14% on the hit rate on that. So both of those look good. He has been better at home by 6%, but a worse average. Recently, we're on the road. He's up 20% on the hit rate, and he's up 0.6 on the average. So he's been doing better on the road, both in hit rate, and that's where he's been getting the majority of his rebounds. So the model has him at 5.6, has him at 65% chance to go over 5. In similar games, it doesn't look as good, but that goes for the whole season. Most similar 10 games. So that would have been when he was with the Clippers. Could have been early season, some of those matchups where the scores were very similar with Zubox, Kawhi, everybody healthy, all of that together. So I wouldn't trust that too much with him just because he hasn't been there as much. I would trust the recent splits more because you can kind of see he's been more consistent at the five, but he also, I think I might play him at four because he's not going over it a lot. He's staying right at the five. So if you are trying to parlay, four seems a lot safer than five, even though it is just one different. Um, if you're playing it straight and the line is at five, I mean, I think he is going to get there. Just seems like it'll be a little bit more of a sweat. Chicago's going to play at a faster pace. They're going to shoot the ball a lot too, especially being on the second day of a back to back. They got blown out by Toronto yesterday. So I could see some more shots going up from Giddy, from Buzelis, and all of that, trying to just get an early lead and build it quicker. But number two is going to be Josh Giddy. It likes him for 7 rebounds. And he's been clearing this line on the road at least. Excuse me. He's hit it in the last 4 road games. 2 of those were the blue dots. Another was the only yellow dot. At home, he did struggle. He had 0 rebounds last night. Toronto's a very good rebounding team. Everybody there has length. So I think with Allen still out for Cleveland, he'll have a little bit better of a chance if he goes inside at least. If he's still hanging out around the perimeter all the time, maybe not. But overall, still pretty good. I mean, a lot of these are 8 or better. He only has yesterday as that one miss. After the game yesterday, I would think that they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. Another division game, so he's hit it in 52% of the last 25 overall, averaging 7.5 in that time. Um, so that is down on his season average, almost a full rebound. It is down on the hit rate, 16%. So now at home, still down over 1.1, and the hit rate is down 14%. So all of that's not looking great for the fact that it's on the downward trend, but he still is right there at about that 7. So I wouldn't worry too much. The model's got him at an 8.2, 64% chance to go over the 7. And in similar games, he's hit it in 7 of the 10, averaging 8 in that time. So a lot of the things that I'm seeing do look pretty good. Cleveland is a slower paced team, so they will slow it down a little bit from what Chicago plays. So that could hurt them a little bit, but I still think the fact that he's hit all of these and hit quite a few of them, he was having triple doubles quite a bit, and then he just completely dropped off. I just think he'll get back up there. The streak was at 7 straight games of 7 or better, and that was excuse me, all since he had come back from injury. So I wouldn't look too much into that little guy right there. And then next one, it likes his Giddy for assists. And it likes him at 6.5. All right, so assists on the road, he's only missed 1 of the last 9. And he's missed 3 of the last 16 at home, including yesterday. So yesterday was a down day for assists. It was a down day for rebounds. Like I said, Toronto's a very lengthy team. So that's the type of team that can disrupt a lot of those types of plays that Giddy makes because he's a very long player too, him and Buzelis. So I I think their length and their style of play will go a little bit better against Cleveland today. At least on that side, I'm not saying they're going to win the game. Just as far as their rebounds and assists might go, I do like the matchup a little bit better. So if you look at the overall games, he's been right there around the 7, and half of them have been under on the most similar games. But if you go to the next one, the yellows, they are all almost 8 or better. He's got one up at 17. He's got some at 10, 12, 11. So I do like it. He's just been playing really, really well, and I just don't trust the game yesterday as being a deciding fact. I think he's going to go right back to where he was. They're a young team. They've been playing well. As far as I know, Colin Sexton will be back again, and he's played really well since he's gone to them. Uh, so I like Giddy. I like his assists again. I'm not sure what his line will be with the fact that he's been getting triple doubles. I would imagine his line's not going to be 7 for rebounds or for assists. Probably going to be a little bit higher. That's just where the model pulled it. Where like I said, it goes in increments. It checks for 5, it checks for 7, it checks for 10. So if it doesn't like him for 10, it's just going to fall right back on that 7 and see where it likes him there. Now, the next one is going to be James Harden again, and it likes his points, and it likes him for 20. So if we go on the road, he has hit this in all but 2 of the games with the Cavs. The Blue Dots have been significantly higher. He's averaged 28 points in the most similar matchups. One of those would have been with the Clippers when he had the 30 points. So if you go to the Cavs, it looks like he's averaging probably about 25 ish in those games. Um, you go to the home. Now, he did have a blue dot in the last one, and that one was at home. That would have been that Dallas game. He had 13. Um, he had 17 against Dallas in the game before. So he will be on the road again. It looks like he's actually doing a little bit better on the road overall. So the hit rate at home is only 36%. He's averaging 19. Hit rate on the road, 71%, and averaging 24 in the last 25 games. So that's pointing in the right direction. Season average is down a little bit, but he did get traded, and he's definitely not going to have the same role that he had when he was with the Clippers, especially when he was pretty much the only one healthy there. So he has enough under, but I do like the over, especially just the way he's been playing on the road. He's hit this in 7 of the 10 most similar games. Models got him at 21.9. That's right where his average is in those similar ones. So it it's liking what it sees. It's pretty consistent there. It's not normally the same. I mean, they'll be similar, but they're not normally spot on like that, point 0.1 away. So Harden, as long as he's hit shooting the threes and they're falling, I know he's had a little bit of a struggle with the 3-pointer recently. Um, I don't know if he would consider it a struggle, but he's only been making, I think, 2 in some of these games, and I know he's typically making 3 or 4. So him with Mitchell, I think they're still trying to figure things out a little bit. Mobley's been really hot on points too. So if Mobley stays hot, I mean, there's just so much scoring on that team. You just got to find the right player on the right night, I think. Next one's going to be Trey Jones for 5 assists. And let's see. So he did miss on the last road game. They're at home. He's only missing 2 of the 10 last road games, 4 of the last 15 home games, but he's hit it in 2 straight home games, including 5 last night and the last home game before that. So the Blue Dots are looking pretty good, other than this one right here. Let's see what that is. That would have been Charlotte. He only had 1 against Charlotte, so I only played 20 minutes in that game also. So I would imagine he's typically playing a little bit more. He might have a little bit less minutes now that Sexton is back. I think they'll probably share a little bit of the time, but 5 still seems pretty reasonable for me. Just looking at the home, looking at the way, all of that. If you can find him for 4, I don't think you're really cutting a whole lot of the risk out, because it looks like 5 and 6 is just his general landing area. So if you like Trey Jones, if you think the matchup against Cleveland is good, you can take that. He's hit it in 76% of the last 25, so that is up 11% on the season. He's up 0.25 on the actual average, up 8% at home. The average has pretty much been the same. The hit rate's mostly gone up on the his road games, and his average has gone up 0.5 on the road games, where it stayed about the same at home. So the model likes him right at 5, 56% chance to get 5 or better. 6 of the 10 games that have been closest, he's hit it in 5.4. So yeah, I wouldn't play him for higher than 5. If I wouldn't probably lower him and try to do much with him. If you like him, take him at 5. I would assume that is likely where his line is anyway, just with how consistent he is on, at least very recently. So that's all of those games. We'll go on to Clippers in New Orleans playing day 2 of a back-to-back against each other. Um, didn't see an injury designation on Kawhi today. I saw one on Darius Garland. But it likes Kawhi for 2 on road games. Yesterday, he ended up making 4 against them. Same spot, same team. So that obviously looks good. I would assume his line could be at 3 today just because of that game yesterday. Even though he doesn't typically go up that high, he has a few, but he's right around that 1 area, 1 to 2 normally. Even at home, a lot of 1s, a lot of 2s, and then a few that go up. So obviously the matchup looks pretty good. If he did get 4 against him yesterday, uh, he's hit this line in 68% of the last 25, averaging 2.4. So he's down a little bit on the hit rate, down on his season average. Looks like both. Well, no, he's gone up a little bit at home. So gone down 7, almost 8% in the away games recently. The average has actually gone up 0.02. So very, very steady there. Has him at 0.2 or 2.2 on the prediction and 64.5% chance to go over. The closest games, he's hit it in 7 of 10 and 2.3 on the average. And against them, he's only hit it in 1 of the 2 games and 2.5 average. So he had 4 yesterday. So he must have had 1 in the other game. I guess we can see that down there. That home game, he had 1 in 29 minutes. So he can have 4, he can have 1. Looks like he's better at home. So I'm not sure which game you really want to trust here. At home, he only had 1. And then on the road, he had 4. So he's been 2 or better in 5 straight games. That's something to consider. He also had 0 and 1 in the games right before that. So, uh, yeah, I don't think this is one I will necessarily play for 2, especially since I think the line might be a little inflated off of that 4 yesterday. But it looks like he's got a decent chance to get there. Likes Murphy. Let's see. For his rebounds first. All right. So on the road, Blue Dots look pretty good. Most recent one a little low. He only had 2 there and there. Let's see at home. So home looks really good. He's hit it in the last 4 games, and those have all been in the close and closest similarity scores. So that is a good sign to see. He did have 7 yesterday. Had 7 against Dallas. Had 5 against Washington. What was the other home? 7 against Toronto. So those are some good teams, and he was getting rebounds there. So I do think things look good for that. Mathurin is out still. Garland might be out. So Mathurin, I think, would be a little bit more of a risk for the rebounds there. But Murphy has hit this in 60% of his most recent 25, averaging right at 5. So his season average is at 5.7. So he is down a little bit on that, down on the hit rate by about 9%. In the last 25 games, at home, he's hitting it in 60% of the games, so that hit rate is down a little bit. That average is down a little bit, but it's also down on the road. So decent pace by the Clippers recently. So that should be okay. The model's got him at 5.2, only a 59% chance to go 5 or better. This is probably why it popped up on the list. He has hit it in 8 of the 10 most similar games, and he's averaged 6 in those. So that looks really good. The other issue is, though, he's played them twice. The other one, he only had 2. One of those 2 games was them, and he played 30 minutes in that game. So he is, I mean, on the season, he's better on the road, but really he's pretty similar home and away. So I think I would trust the most recent games. He's had 5 straight games where he has hit that. He's had 7 of the last 8 games where he's been 5 or better. Most of those 7 or better. So I do think he looks pretty good. I think he can easily go over that 5 line tonight. I'm not sure what his line is sitting at, but looks like a solid option to me. The next one is going to be Kawhi Leonard. Likes him for 24.5 points. So on the road, he's only missed this in 4 of the last 12 road games. He did have exactly 25 points last night. Homie's only missed it in 3 of the last 13, but 2 of those were the very closest similarity. And then he's had some other yellow that were close. The highest one also closest. So that's good. He has been hitting this very well recently. Let's see. So the last time he didn't hit this, back to back games, March 1st and 2nd. So he came really, really close yesterday to not hitting it. And one of those games was against New Orleans. So he's not scoring as well against New Orleans. Even yesterday, he barely hit it. If if he is playing, if you can find him a few points lower, this might be one of the days where you might want to buy him down a little bit. Obviously, the potential's there. If Garland doesn't play, that should help him out with scoring. Well, he should have more opportunities to shoot the ball, but Garland's very good at getting the ball to him. So kind of help him out in one way, hurt him in another way. So I could see this going. I could see him ending up right at it again. Obviously, 23 and 25 in the 2 matchups. He's been right there at that 24, and he hasn't really gone over. So they obviously defend him pretty well. Not sure I'd want to take him too high. 25, if you can find him a few points lower, I think it's probably a better bet to go, just based on the recent games that they've played against each other. The next one is going to be Trey Murphy on his 3-pointers. Likes him for 3. So he's only missed this in 2 of the last 15 road games, with the best game at 12 being against a very similar team. He's also had quite a few that were right there at 3. At home, he has hit this in 3 of the last 4, including hitting 4 last night. He had a 5 against a similar team, and he had a 0 against a similar team. So let's look at the overall. Yeah, he looks like he might have missed a little bit of time. I do believe he missed some games before the All-Star break. So could have been coming back from an injury where he hit that 0. Every other blue dot is 3 or better. Even most of the yellow, he's only had 2 yellow dots that were right at 2. So if you can find him at good odds at 2 and you want to parlay, I think that's a good option. But he looks good for 3. I mean, I think he could very easily even get 4. He's been 4 or better in all but 3 games since the All-Star break. And when you go to the home, he's been 4 or better in 3 of the 4 games since the All. Well, these 2 would have been All-Star too. So 4 of the 6 games since the All-Star break. No, those were before. So yeah, 3 of the 4 games since the All-Star break, he has been 4 or better. So that looks really good to me. And he did have 4, like I said last night. He had 4 in both matchups against them, actually. So that looks really good. I think if you take him for 3, if his line is at 3 today, which it may not be, it looks really good. My one concern for him is the fact that DeJounte Murray is back, and when he's on, he can take some of those shots. He can take some of those threes away. But second day of a back to back, I think everybody's going to be getting some time, and with Murray being the one that's been injured, he's the most likely to sit out, I would think. So the next one is going to be Zion Williamson. The let's see, on his road games, he's hit it in 3 of the last 6 since the All-Star break. He's hit it in the last 3. He's been just under in his last 2. He's had 4, including last night, and then against Dallas the game before at home. He's had some 6s and he's had some 2s since the All-Star break. So some upside, definitely some downside to that. If you look at the overall, some very high ones, and then just some right around that 4 to 5. I think 4 is the sweet spot for him if you are parlaying, because that seems to be the most relevant floor. He's got these 3 that are further down, but the majority, 22 of the 25, are all 4 or better in his last 25 games. So if you can find him at 4, I think that's a really solid line to run with. 5 looks good, but honestly, when he's been getting 5 recently, he's been getting 6. So there's very good upside, perhaps a ladder opportunity depending on his odds if he is playing too. I know a lot of the injury reports weren't out before I started this, so at least on the teams that played last night. So he's hit this line in 60% of the last 25 games, averaging 5.9, 5.8 in that time. So he is up slightly on the average. The hit rate is down slightly. At home, he is down 15% in that time, and he is down 0.8 on his average. So stayed the same exact hit rate on away games, gone up actually on the average on away games. So it's been at home where he's been struggling. This may be where you want to slide onto that 4, like I said. Just try to pair it with something else, perhaps his points. He's been scoring a lot recently. Model has him at 4.9 on the prediction, and it has him at 54% chance to go over 5 or hit 5. Similar games, he has hit it in 7 of the 10. He's averaged 5.9 in those games, but he had 1 against them in this last game, and he didn't play the game before that. So he only had 4. He came 1 away. The other closest, Washington, 2, Golden State, 6. So some of these teams that are kind of in the middle too, close can go both directions. So don't think just because a decent team is in there with a team where you're like, what? It could be because that decent or that good team is just on the edge of the better bracket too. That's a little bit farther away. And then the other team is below them on a different. So I don't know. I do think 4 looks really good for him here. I just, with his home away stats, those splits, and then second day of a back to back, perhaps some tired legs. I know he always seems to have tired legs and then comes back fully juiced to dunk the ball. I think I would stick at 4 and just try to pair it with some points for him. Is where I'm at if he's playing. I think he's playing. Next one we got Oso Iguodaro for rebounds for 5. So they will be on the road in San Antonio today against similar teams. He's had 5 or better in all of the away games. He's had a 14. He's had a 10. Even the yellows are all 5 or better. Based on that look, I'm not sure what his line's going to be. It seems like it could be a little higher. Based on the home games, though, that's where he struggled a little bit more. He's only hit this in 3 of the last 7 games since the All-Star break. So if you look at the overall, it doesn't really look that great. But if you look on the road, he's been doing pretty well on the road. So I don't know if that's something you want to consider. Let's look at who he's been playing. He's got Minnesota, Boston, Toronto, Indiana, Milwaukee. So these aren't, some of them aren't, at least the most recent 3 are not terrible rebounding teams. And he just got 10 against Minnesota in 34 minutes. So that's pretty good. That was on the second day of a back-to-back. So perhaps that's why his minutes were inflated a little bit. Or it could have just been injuries. So he's hit this line in 56% of the games. He's got 5.8 average in that time. So he's averaging almost 1 better. Hit rate is about 7% better in that time. On the road, though, he's averaging almost 1.6 better average, 17% hit rate better. So on the road, he's been doing much better recently. Prediction is 6.4 from the model. Has him at a 73.5% chance to go over 5. He's hit 5 or better in 80% of the most similar games, averaging 6.5 in those games. Against San Antonio, he's hit it in 1 of 2 games, and he's averaged 4. So are any of those? All right, the most recent game, he did just have 2. So it means he had a 2 and he had a 6. So he hasn't particularly done well against San Antonio, but I'm unsure how many minutes he played in the last one because I only have the most recent games pull up here. So the 2, obviously not looking great. That was this game right here. So let's find that on his overall. So that was right here. He only played 17 minutes in that game. That is the lowest minutes he has. He hasn't played any games with lower minutes since then, and he's been getting better. So I do think if you can find him at 4 or 5, that's probably a pretty solid option tonight. Just based on what I'm seeing, on what he has done, mainly on the road, is what I'm looking at. And then the fact that if he is still coming off the bench, this is a chance where San Antonio at home against Phoenix. Phoenix is a team that can struggle sometimes getting shots to fall. And if they're just not falling, which they've obviously been better with Green and with Booker both back, but if they start not falling again, this game can get away from them probably pretty quick in San Antonio. Next one, Devin Vassell for 2 threes. All right, so Vassell at home, just in general, he's been 3 or better on the road in his last 6. At home, he has struggled a little bit less, but those blue dots are still pretty good. The most recent blue dot up there at 4. On the most recent 3 blue dots, all at 4. It does have a yellow at 1. So this looks like some good upside to me. He has hit this line in 60% of the last 25, averaged 2.3 in that time. So his hit rate is down a little bit. His average is down a little bit in that time, um, even at home. So the hit rate's down 12% at home. He is down zero point 0.5 at home in that time. Looks like he's been doing better on the average on the road, but that's also going back over the last 25 games. He's hit this in 5 of the last 7 home games. Both of those blue dots in there are at 2 or better. So I think 2 is a pretty solid line for him. Model's got him at 2.6 with a 72% chance to hit 2 or better. In similar matchups, it's got him at 9 of the 10 he's hit, and he's averaged 3.7 in those games. And he's hit both games against uh, Phoenix, or one game. One game against Phoenix, he hit it. He had 2. So that would be this game right here. It was at home. He played almost 23 minutes, which is down from the minutes he's playing right now. He still got 2. So if you can find him at 2, I think that's a good line to play. And this looks like an excellent line to ladder if he is at 2, because 3 looks good, and it looks like he might even get up to 4. I mean, the fact that 9 of the 10 most similar games he's averaged 3.7, and you're just not seeing that really on here from any of these. So the matchup looks good for him. That it really likes him from what it's seeing. Next one is going to be Stephon Castle, 5 rebounds. So on the road, not very good recently. Let's look at the home. So he's been better at home. He has hit this in the last 4 home games. 2 of those were blue, 2 of those were yellow. So similar matchups from the similarity scores. If you want to go back just from the All-Star break, he's hit it in 5 of the 7, with 3 of the 4 blue dots being up. The only one that wasn't was the very first game after the All-Star break. So at home, he's looking really good. If this was a road game, I would not think that, but last 25 overall, only 48%, so it is on the underside. Average is right there at 5, pretty much spot on with the average for the season, and down 10% on the hit rate. If you look at the home, the hit rate is about the same. The average is up 1, though. He has gone from 5 on the season. He's averaging 6 in his last 11 home games. So that's really good. The struggles have been on the road for the rebounding. The pace, Phoenix does play at a slower pace. Even with everybody back, they haven't really been speeding up too much. This is the last 10 games. They've been at a 95.2. We've been seeing some with like 105 today. So definitely on the slower side of the pace. That could hurt the rebounds a little bit. Maybe not as many opportunities. The model still has him at a 5.5 on the prediction and 63% chance to hit 5 or better. Now, on this one, if you look at similarity scores, he's only hit it in 4 of the 10 most similar games, and he's only averaged 4.3 in those time. But that could be some of those could be on the road where he obviously hasn't been doing as well recently, or it could have just been some of the games that were further back in the season. It's hard to know. Just based on the pace, though, the 95, that puts him right here, which actually he's been doing good against the slower teams. He's hit this in 6 of the 7 games. He's averaged 6 rebounds in that time. So all of that actually looks pretty good. Not sure what his line is going to be. I don't think he's known as a rebounder much. Obviously, recent games could have affected his line, but from everything that I can see, Stephon Castle for rebounds looks like a pretty solid option tonight. For the next one, it does like Devin Booker for 2 threes. Booker had been doing pretty well recently. Struggled that last game. He only had 1. I think he shot 7 opportunities. I know that because I bet it and I missed. But anyway, let's see. He's got it in 5 of the last 6 road games. He's been 2 or better. 3 of those games have been up there at 4, so that looks good. The 2 closest in similarity scores both been right at 2. Closest in similarity score, he had 5 at home. So if you look at the overall, he's hit this in 7 of the last 9 games since he's been back from injury. Both of the blue dots are at the top. The yellow dot is right at the 2. So all of this is looking pretty good to me. 4 2 or better. I don't know what his line is. It could be at 3 today. So he's hit 2 or better in 52% of the last 25 games. So that will include all of these ones that he had before the All-Star break, before he got injured, all of that stuff. He's up slightly over on the season. Like I said, a lot of this is, let's look at him most recently. How many games has he been back? If we can just go to the 12, I think that'll take us to here. And that'll still include some of his injury even. That way it's not completely on these ones where he's been doing really well. Oh, I put it at 3. Whatever. So at 2, this is the line that I meant to do, is at the 2 right here. So he's hit it in all. He had this 1-0 back here. That one was San Antonio. He only played 9 minutes in that game. So same matchup, but he didn't really play. He was still hurt. Every other game, he's hit all except for this very last game where he played in Minnesota, second day of a back-to-back. At home, still doing really well. So recent games, I mean, he looks good for 3 even. 2, I think he should get. Almost all of these blue and yellow are 2 or better. I do think he has a really good shot at going for 3 though. He was getting pretty hot before that last game, and he put them up. They just were not falling for him in Milwaukee. So that last one is going to be Colin Gillespie. I spelled his name wrong, and it likes him for 3. And he has actually been struggling a bit till that last game. With Jalen Green back and Booker, his hit kind of dipped a little bit. If you look, he was doing really, really well while they were all out. They came back, and he's had some pretty low games. He's been doing better at home. This is going to be a road game where his games haven't been quite as well. He's only hit this line in 3 of the last 7. So not necessarily something I'm loving. He was doing great for a while, but just hasn't been showing it as much on the road since they've all been healthy. So unless some of those players, if Booker sits or if Jalen Green ends up sitting, if that gets updated, then maybe I would go for him. But I think I would rather go for Jalen Green's points or for even Booker in this one. So he's hit it in 68% of the last 25 games. He has averaged 3.2 almost. So his average is up on the season. The hit rate is up on the season in his last 25. But most of that has been at home, 59% to 73% on the hit rate there, 0.6 up on the average. He's actually gone down on the road on the average, and he's gone down on the hit rate from the season to the last 25. So that just doesn't look good to me. The model's got him at 2.9, so it does have him under the 3. It's got him at a 58% chance to hit the 3 or better. Similar games, he has done really well. He has hit it in 8 of the 10 and averaged 4 in those. I'm just not liking necessarily what I'm seeing just on the recent road trend, and then just knowing that it's not just his play. It's partially because of personnel and his just not getting as much. And that's expected. So 2 more games to go. We do have Milwaukee and Utah next. First one is going to be Ace Bailey. Likes him for 2 threes. Let's see. And Utah is at home today. So he's been 2 or better in a lot of his road games, especially the blue ones, 2 or better. He had that 1-1 there. At home, he's been really solid. He's only missed in 2 of the last 12 home games. 2 of those that missed were both the closest similarity, though. So if you look at the overall, shows a little bit better. He has only actually missed 2 games since the All-Star break. He's hit that in 4, 8, 9 of the 11 games since the All-Star break. One of those was a blue dot, but that was against same opponent, actually. I was in Milwaukee. He only had 1. He played 29 minutes. So same opponent, but he is playing at home now. So if we look at that, he has 72% hit rate in the last 25 games. He's averaging 2.24 in that time. So he's averaging half a 3 more. His hit rate's gone up 17%. So at home, it's gone up 13%. He's hit that in 83% of the home games, averaging 2.5 in that time. So he's doing really well at home. Even on the road, it's gone up 20%, and it's gone up 0.7 on the average. But all season long, he's been doing well at home. The model's got him at a 2.22 prediction, has him at a 68% probability to hit two or better. Similar games, 6 of the 10 he's hit it. His average is over two. He did only hit one in the previous matchup, like I said. So that's the one concerning fact that I'm seeing is just that one game 4 games ago against Milwaukee. But that was on the road. He still did get one. It's not like he had zero. His minutes were slightly lower than some of his games. I mean, here he had 2 in 7 minutes. So that would be pretty solid. He did miss a couple games after that, came right back, hit 5. So I do like Bailey for 2 threes if that line is decent. Looks like he possibly could go higher, but 2 is definitely his sweet spot. He's not going over that consistently until recently. Before that, it was mostly at 2, some above, some below. More recently, it's been higher above than below, but I would stick at 2 if it was me. The next one it likes is Ryan Rollins for points, 15. All right, so he is going to be on the road. Let's see. He's one blue dot is at 11 points. Let's see who they played there. That would have been the Chicago game. He played 34 minutes, so it wasn't a minutes thing. Even these yellow dots, he's got a couple that have been under at 14. So at home, he has been a little better. The blue dots are up there at a 20, a 22. Utah was considered close when they played. So down here, he had 13. So he was under in that game, and he did play 40 minutes. So again, it wasn't a minutes thing. He got the minutes. He just wasn't getting the points in that game. And that one was at home. He's been doing better on the road. He's gone from a 45%. He's gone up 21% on his hit rate in the last 25 games versus the season. His average has gone up 3 points in that same time. So home's been staying pretty steady. He's been doing better on the road. He's hit it in 64% of the last 25. Model's got him at 17.5. Probability of 66% to go 15 or better. 7 of the 10 closest games he's hit 15 or better, averaged 19 in that time. So I think everything does actually look pretty good for him. He's improved quite a bit on the road. Again, with him, it could be an injury thing. If Kevin Porter Jr. is playing, Giannis is out. I know that. I'm not sure what their injury list looks like today. It's been steadying out a little bit more. It hasn't been quite as long. So I think Giannis is probably going to be about the only one out. So he'll have a good chance to still score it. They move the ball around pretty well. A lot of them shoot, they share. So I think he has a good chance to at least get to 15 on this one. It likes him for 2 threes as well, if you want to try that instead of the points, or if these odds are not, if the odds aren't very good on either of them, maybe you want to pair them together. It might help a little bit. All right, so on the road, he's only blue dot is actually at 1. He has some yellows at 1, 2, and 3. But the most recent games, he does have a 2. He does have a 4 on the road. He has a 7. So he's only missed this in 1 game of the last 8 road games. So that looks pretty good. He's only missed the line in 2 home games of the last 16 home games, with all the blue dots being at 3 or 4. So all of that looks pretty good. If you can find his line at 2, I mean, I don't see any reason why he doesn't get there. He's hit that in 8 straight games, 10 of the last 13. So looks solid to me. 84% in the last 25, 2.76 in that time. So his hit rate's up 13%. His average is up 0.3 in the last 25. He has been doing better at home, but he's also been doing 10% better on the road, up 0.5 on the road. So the average increase has actually been better on the road. Model's got him at 2.4, 73% chance to go 2 or better. Against similar teams, he's only hit it in 5 of the 10, but the average is at 2.2, so he's been having the better games. And he has 3 in the previous matchup against them. So that all is looking pretty good to me. I think if you can find him at 2, that's an excellent line. 3, though, I mean, these last 3 blue dots are all right at 3. I see no reason why he can't get there today either. So the next one's gonna be Kyle Filipowski. He didn't do very well yesterday in rebounds, but it still has him on here for 7. So he had, let's see, 3 against Minnesota. So that was pretty rough. He's been struggling a little bit recently. 7, 6, 3. A lot of back to a lot of single digits. Looks like his minutes are even going down. So I don't know that I would trust this one just straight off the back right away. Blue Dots are averaging right at 4 for him on the road. At home, right at 6. So he has hit this a little bit better at home than he has on the road. He's hit this in 4 of the last 6 games, only missing those 2, and he had 6 in those. So if you can find him at 6, that might be a slightly better option, because then he would have had it in 6 of 6 last home games, and only missed that in 2 of the games since the All Star break. So I think 6 is a better line than 7. If you can find it at a decent odds, you might want to just pair it together with something, because 7, while it still looks really good, I just honestly, against Milwaukee, though, he should get there. He had 11 against Milwaukee in the last one. Giannis isn't playing. The rest of their guys that can get rebounds aren't super lengthy like he is. So 7 actually might be a pretty good one on this. He's hit it in 52% of his most recent 25. He's had 8.2 average in that time. So his average is up over 1, like about 1.3. Hit rate's up 5% in that time. Um, Home's been pretty steady. Most of that has actually been on the road. So he is at home today. The possessions for Milwaukee, they're not a super fast playing team recently. Model does have him at 8.7 for the prediction, though, so a 71.5% chance to go 7 or better. He's only averaging 6.6 in similar matchups, so that is under the 7, but he's hit it in more than half the games. He's hit it in 6 of the 10 most similar games. So very high upside again. Just seems to have potential to not quite get there. I know there have been games where he's had foul trouble. I'm not sure if that was an issue last night. I didn't look into that. Um, but that could also be something to be a little bit concerned about with him. Next one's gonna be Miles Turner for 2 threes. All right, so against similar teams, he has a 3, he has a 2. The other yellow dots, 2s and 4s on the road. So all of that looks good. These ones down here at 1 are all red and green dot. So it is separated the way that I like to see it in these graphs. If you go to the home graph, not quite as separated. This isn't a home game though, so more concerned with how it's looking here. Obviously, 1 is a risk, but he looks pretty good for 2 for me. Even just in recent games, he's had quite a few that have gone over 2, up to 4, even up to 5. So he's been over 56% of the times in the last 25 games, averaging exactly 2. Slightly down on the average, slightly down on the hit percentage versus the overall season, but it's not anything too concerning. On the road, he is down 13% on the hit rate and pretty much the exact same average. So the model has him at 1.9, has him at a 61% chance to go 2 or better. He's hit it in 6% of the games, or 6 of the 10 games that are closest, and he's averaged 1.9 in those. So I don't know. He only had 1 against them in the last one. That one was at home, though. He only played 18 minutes in that game. He's been doing better. Just the similar matchups on the road is really what I'm looking at here. I know some of these games have gone all the way back to January, so that's quite a while ago. More recently, he hasn't been as good, so it is a little concerning. But I I'm not playing this one. I can tell you that. But if you can get him for 1 at any decent line to add to a parlay, he has not missed that at all. He's hit that in 11 straight home games. So, or 11 straight road games, and he's only missed it in 1 of the last 25. So perhaps you can find him at 1 at a decent odds just because he hasn't been hitting 2 as much. But that's probably one I would just stay away from. So last game is going to be the Kings in Philly. It likes Precious Achua for 7 rebounds. So Sacramento's at home. He's been doing really well on the road recently. On home games, also been doing really well. He's hit that in 8 straight games. Those blue dots, all 7 or better. Well, he had one there that he didn't, but since the All-Star break, he's only missed this line in 1 game. So I'm not sure what his line will be today, but 7 or better, 8 or better. It looks like he could even perhaps get up to 9 or 10. Looks pretty good just based on the similarity. These blue dots, the yellow dots, the most recent 2 obviously are down there right at 7. That's the risk. But I mean, he's had quite a few that are 10 or better against these types. So he's had it in 60% of the games. He's averaged 7.44 in that time of the last 25. He has had 42% hit rate on the season. So his hit rate's gone up 18% almost. His average has gone up 1.2 in the last 25. So obviously his usage has been going up with Sabonis and everybody being out and all the injuries. But let's see. So at home, 75% hit rate in the last 25, up 21%. And again, up 1 rebound. So that looks pretty good there. Models got him at 10.4 prediction, 87% to go over. Similar games, though, he's only hitting 2 of 10, average 4.5. But a lot of that's just going to be, most of those games were probably earlier in the season when his minutes were not quite as much. That's one thing it doesn't compare is how many minutes they've been getting recently compared to like back then. Perhaps I should try to work that in somehow. Uh, but for 7 or better, he's had that every game since February 21st. So I don't see any reason why he can't get that tonight. Philly's banged up, obviously, so not a lot there that would prevent him from getting there. Next one's going to be Russell Westbrook. And it likes him for 2 3-pointers. All right, so on the road, he's had 1 in 4 of the last 9. This is at home. He's missed it in 4 of the last 16 home games, so he's been doing really well. 4 of the last 5 games, he's hit it. He did have a 0 the last time at home against San Antonio, though. I would not put San Antonio in the close anymore. When Philly was healthy, perhaps they would have been matched up pretty close, but I don't think that's too close to what he's going to be seeing tonight. I do think he should be able to at least get 1 or 2. Looks like he has a chance to get 3. If you go to his overall, he has hit 2 or better in 5 of the last 6 games. So, and 6 of the last 8, and with 3 of those being at 3. So Russ definitely can get there. 68% of his last 25, he's hit it. 2.24 in that time. So 10% better on the hit rate and 0.2 better on his average in the last 25 games versus the season. He has been better at home by 14% or 13%. 0.15 better on the average. He does do better at home. 0.8 better on his home average than his away average. So everything looks pretty good. Location, matchup based. He is at a 2.16 prediction with a 67% chance to go 2 or better. 2.3 average, and 7 of the 10 most similar games he's gone over 2. So all of that combined, I do like Russ for 2. I don't know. Again, not sure what his line is, but from everything I can see, I don't think that the odds would be too crazy on that. I think he has a really good shot. Next one's going to be VJ Edgecombe. It has him for 15 points. He has dipped off a little bit. Obviously, he's a young player. All those injuries, there's a lot that's been put on him. Similar games, he has 7 points there, 6 points maybe. He had a 5 here. So similar games, he hasn't necessarily been doing as well. We look at the overall, the last 2 blue dots have been at 10 points or less. So I'm not entirely sure this is one I would want to take. Obviously, he's going to get the minutes because he's one of the few people he has left, but he's one of the few people that they have to target. One thing that they definitely have going, these points allowed 118 in the last 10 games. I mean, that is the most he has faced. So this is a bad defense. This is a team that will give up points. He's averaging 15.8, and he's hit it in 3 of the 10 or 3 of the 6 games in that quartile. So I mean, it's not like he can't get there. It's just recently it seems like teams are kind of ganging up on him and seeing if he did also miss time between some of that. So I guess there is that too. He missed some games there from that six. He only played 20 minutes in that game. This is more of what would concern me. Just this last time out, he only had 9. He had a 10 here where he did actually play the minutes. If they get into a blowout situation, which with Sacramento is a little iffy, Sacramento's probably not blowing out too many people, but if that gets into a situation, either side, his minutes will end up getting cut slightly. They still don't have a lot. But the last 25 games, he hasn't hit it in half of the games. He's been under on the average. Even on the season, he hasn't hit that in half of the games, barely over that on the average. So while I think it's very, very, very possible, this is not something that I'm going to go with. Really, this game in general, I'm not sure. Other than rebounds, maybe on some of these players, I'm not sure there's a whole lot of value on some of this. So Russ, it likes his assists for 6.5. All right, so we had a really good game on the road in the last road game. Had some sevens before that. Struggled against the closer competition. At home has been very different. So he has been 7 or better in all but one of these closest games. Orlando kept him to 1. But other than that, he's had 5 straight games where he's had 7 or better. Most of those have been 9 or better. 4 of them have been. So Russ has been dishing the ball pretty well recently. Overall, 6 straight. 7 of the last 8 have all been 7 or better. So it does look pretty good to me, especially going up against an injured Philly team. He's 56% of the last 25 he's gone over. He is only averaging 6.6 in that time, but both of these teams, a lot has changed in the last 25 games for him. So still looks pretty good to me. Pretty close to what his season averages are on both. He does do better at home. He's hit this line in almost 70% of the last 25 home games, averaging 7.4 in that time. So way better than he's been doing on the road in that same amount of time. Way better than he's been doing at home on the overall season. Model has him at 8.4 on a prediction and 69% chance to go 7 or better. Now, on the whole season, similar games, he's only been 5 of 10 at 7 or better, and the average is only 5.8. I think this is one where it's more you're looking at the recent trends more than the overall average on the season. And I think everything is looking really good for him tonight. If you can find him a little bit lower at good odds, you might want to take him there. Just save yourself a little bit of the risk, a little bit of the stress, but I think he should be able to get there. Last one is going to be Reynad at 6.5 rebounds. So similar teams, he's been right around that 5 to 6 mark on the road. This will be at home. Still again 5, a 7. He did have a 9 last game out against San Antonio, but these 5 and 6s are the ones that would concern me a little bit more. He played 42 minutes almost in that game to get 9. He's also had 25 minutes and he's only gotten 6. So some is minutes driven, not all of it, because obviously he's had a 26-minute 12 against San Antonio before. That one was on the road. At home again, he struggled a little more. So for 7, I do think he still probably looks pretty good. This is a banged up Philly team. This does seem like a game where he could end up on the higher ones up here too. If you look at the overall, I don't like all of the blue dots being down here. Again, I don't know how similar it could be. Still working through all of these injuries on the Philly and comparing them to the team that they're not anymore, which seems like it could be the case because he has a lot of really good games, and this Philly team seems like a team that anyone who can rebound should be able to have a pretty solid game against. But he's hit it in 56% of the last 25, averaging 8.4 in that time. So the hit rate is up. The average is up over 1 rebound per game. He has been better at home, averaging 8.5 versus the 7.4 on the season. Hit rate's up 6%. hit rate is way better in the last 25 at home than it is on the road, but the average is about the same. So his better games have been on the road. He just has had his worst games on the road too. Uh, but yeah, the model has him at 10 on the prediction, has him at 80% to go 7 or better. He's averaged almost 8 against similar teams, hitting it in half of those games for the closest 10. So there's a lot there. There's just a lot where he's come really close and not hit. I think I would like Achua better in this game, but I don't think right now it's really a bad option. So if there's anything else that I can do, help you guys out, like I've said, leave me a comment, send me a message, whatever. I'll see if I can get back to you. I know it's March Madness time, but there's still NBA games too. So if you haven't checked out any of my other videos, then check out I got the predictions for the games and other videos. You can find those too. But good luck. Let me know if there's anything you need from me.